buildings in the world are as instantly recognizable as the Sydney Opera House. Its soaring white sails symbolize creativity, innovation, and national pride. But behind its breathtaking beauty lies one of the most famous and infamous project management stories of the 20th century. The Sydney Opera House began as a bold vision in 1956, when the New South Wales government launched an international competition to design a performing arts centre for Sydney. Danish architect Jorn Utsen's radical design won, a structure unlike anything the world had ever seen. The project promised to be completed in just 4 years at a cost of 3.5 million euros, but it would take 14 years and more than 100 million euros before the doors finally opened in 1973. The story of how it happened offers timeless lessons in project management. The construction of the Sydney Opera House was anything but straightforward. The project unfolded over nearly 2 decades and through several distinct phases, each one shaping the building we know today. The project began in 1956 as a bold dream. In the 1950s, the New South Wales government sought to create a world-class venue for opera and the performing arts, something that would put Sydney on the global cultural map. Among the more than 200 design entries was a striking, unconventional sketch by Danish architect Jorn Utsen. His design, inspired by the forms of nature and the sails of Sydney Harbour, captured the judge's imagination. With Utsen's selection in 1957, planning began in earnest, though many of the design's technical details were still undefined. Construction officially began in 1959 with the building's massive concrete podium. But here, the project hit its first major obstacle. The podium was built before engineers had finalized how to construct the now famous roof shells. This meant that key structural alignments and load-bearing elements didn't match the evolving roof design. As a result, portions of the podium had to be rebuilt, causing delays and skyrocketing costs. Breakthroughs eventually came when the shells were conceived as segments of a single sphere, a revelation that made construction possible but added years to the timeline and millions to the budget. By the mid-1960s, the Opera House had become politically charged. A change in government brought new leadership less sympathetic to Utsen's creative process and escalating costs. Funding cuts, disputes over payment schedules, and demands for detailed construction drawings created deep mistrust between Utsen and the new Minister for Public Works, Davis Hughes. Under mounting pressure and without sufficient financial or political support, Utsen resigned in 1966, a turning point that shocked the architectural world. He left Australia soon after, never to return to see the completed building. After Utsen's departure, the government appointed a new team of Australian architects to carry the project forward. They were tasked with interpreting Utsen's vision while adapting it to new budgets, materials, and performance requirements. The team redesigned major interior spaces, including the concert hall and opera theater, to suit more practical needs. Despite these compromises, the construction pressed on. Finally, in 1973, after nearly 15 years of work, the Sydney Opera House was completed and officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II. What began as an abstract sketch had transformed into one of the world's most iconic buildings, a masterpiece born from both conflict and collaboration. In project management, the iron triangle measures success through 3 constraints: time, cost, and scope. By these standards, the Opera House failed. It took nearly 4 times longer than planned, cost 14 times the original estimate, and deviated substantially from Utsen's initial vision. Yet, despite those failures, it achieved extraordinary success in a 4th dimension: quality. The result became an enduring global icon, redefining how success is measured in creative and public projects. But to truly understand why the Sydney Opera House faced such extraordinary challenges, we need to look beyond the iron triangle. The diamond model offers a broader perspective, one that captures the project's uniqueness, complexity, and pace of change. Applying the diamond model provides even deeper insight into why the Sydney Opera House project unfolded the way it did. The design was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Jorn Utsen's vision was completely unique. There was no precedent to follow, no blueprint for success. Every decision from the roof geometry to the acoustic design required fresh thinking and experimentation. Because of that novelty, existing construction methods simply weren't enough. Engineers had to invent new techniques and materials to make Utsen's vision a reality. The solution came when the roof's complex curves were reimagined as segments of a perfect sphere. an engineering breakthrough that allowed the shells to be prefabricated and assembled with precision. The Opera House demanded coordination across dozens of disciplines and organizations: architects, structural engineers, acousticians, contractors, and multiple layers of government. Communication breakdowns, design revisions, and conflicting priorities created constant tension. Managing this level of complexity required extraordinary collaboration and adaptability. As the years passed and costs soared, public scrutiny and political pressure mounted. Each new election brought shifting expectations and urgency to deliver results. The pace of decision-making became increasingly reactive, driven less by careful planning and more by the need to show progress. Taken together, these four dimensions reveal that the Sydney Opera House was a super high complexity, high novelty project, one that demanded flexibility, creativity, and innovation far more than rigid control. It was a project that redefined the limits of architecture, engineering, and project management itself. Stakeholder management proved to be one of the Sydney Opera House project's greatest challenges. From the very beginning, powerful personalities and competing interests shaped its trajectory. The project's key stakeholders, architect Jorn Utzon, structural engineer Ove Arup, and the New South Wales government shared the same ultimate goal: to create a world-class performing arts center. But how to achieve that vision was another matter entirely. Utzon was driven by artistic integrity and innovation. His designs pushed the limits of form, structure, and technology, and he demanded the creative freedom to realize them. Arup, on the other hand, focused on the engineering realities, finding practical solutions to translate Utzon's radical ideas into something buildable. Meanwhile, the New South Wales government faced growing public scrutiny as costs spiraled and timelines slipped. Political leaders became increasingly concerned with accountability and public image. By 1966, the tension had reached a breaking point. Facing withheld payments and a loss of trust, Jorn Utzon resigned and left the project, a defining moment that revealed the collapse of stakeholder alignment. This conflict illustrates a critical lesson. Visionary design must be supported by transparent communication, trust, and clearly defined governance structures. From a project management perspective, the Sydney Opera House teaches several key lessons. Begin construction only after design and scope are clearly defined, establish open communication channels among all stakeholders, balance innovation with disciplined cost and time management, and use flexible, adaptive management approaches for complex projects. Future large-scale projects can benefit from collaborative frameworks that integrate technical, political, and creative stakeholders from start to finish. The Sydney Opera House may not have succeeded by traditional project metrics, but its legacy transcends far beyond those measures. What began as a struggling construction project became one of the most recognized and celebrated buildings in the world. It stands today as a symbol of human creativity, persistence, and the power of vision to overcome adversity. The Opera House reminds us that even when projects face setbacks, conflicts, and uncertainty, innovation and collaboration can turn challenges into enduring achievements. In the end, the true success of the Sydney Opera House isn't found in its timelines or its costs, but in its legacy. A timeless masterpiece that continues to inspire generations of architects, engineers, and project managers around the world.